I've learned that in life, the best way to enjoy a Nintendo product is by not knowing anything about Nintendo. And that was my biggest truth for the longest time because, in honesty, I knew nothing about Nintendo. I knew they made games, consoles, and and that was really about it. To play a Nintendo product, you needed a Nintendo console. So that's kind of how they like corner their own market of the games that you want to play. Then I learned about Nintendo and like what they do, and I realized Nintendo is really fucking shitty. It is really fucking shitty, and somehow, some way, they manage to get worse and worse like as time goes on, because they're the kind of people that I've noticed that they see a fire going in the worst place possible, and they add wood to that fire. They add gasoline. They try to make it like bigger and worse, and like seeing like what how far can we push gamers to do whatever the fuck we want to do to them, and they'll still be happy with us. Because that's literally what they did with the new update they had to the end user license agreement. That agreement that you have to accept, that you have to like actually, say yes to in order to play their products. Because if you say no, they're like, well, you can't play till you say yes. And this agreement that you're agreeing to that no one fucking reads because it's like a shit ton of pages long, it fucks you over pretty bad, really fucking bad in a lot of ways. And to the general user, yeah, it won't really matter and it won't really have any sort of like contingency or effect on your life. But for the people that it will matter to, it'll affect them horribly, really fucking bad. So there's two big ones that like a lot of people have reported on that I really want to talk about and just like gripe about. Really just gripe about it because like it's just shitty behavior, if that makes sense. Just really shitty behavior. The first one is how Nintendo can literally brick your console for messing with their games and or their hardware and or software. Now, what does that mean? It means mods, basically. Like for example, I know there's a few, I mean very like limited, Zelda mods, Breath of the Wild, and people just like made the game harder, add more enemies, add new enemies, make it run better on the console it's meant to run good at, like people, they do add and they do mess with the game, you know what I mean, in their own certain way. And Nintendo has always looked down on this. Nintendo has always been really shitty about doing that. And anytime a video gets posted about a mod to Zelda or a mod to this or that on Nintendo, then Nintendo gets mad. They get really mad. They usually file a strike on the channel, or they copyright or whatever. Like usually they take that video down as fast as they can because Nintendo just doesn't like that. But that's all they've been able to do. If you manage to do it without YouTube or this and that, then great, good luck. You did it yourself. Nintendo never found out. Scrape it under the rug. You're fine. But now, if for some reason, you get caught doing this or that, they can literally brick your console and your entire account. And that's annoying. That's horrible because I think mods are a great way for you to like actually experience the game that they made on a higher level, if that makes sense. I'll go with the example of one of my favorite modded games, or two of my favorite, is Minecraft. Minecraft is such a simple, basic, and like blocky game where you go in there, build shit, mine shit, and you have fun. You know what I mean? It's boring sometimes, and sometimes it's not. But with mods, it expands that game to a whole other level where you're building shit and you're mining shit, and then next thing you know, you're like fighting fucking dragons. You're fighting the fucking Minotaur. You're fighting Hydras. Like you're doing crazy shit. You're turning into Iron Man, Hulk, this and that. And to me, that's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? I usually don't play with mods in Minecraft, but that's just me. But I know modded Minecraft is a huge community that people love getting into, And I feel like Nintendo not allowing them to do that is really bad. Not really bad. And it's just a matter of like, you're messing up like what could be another huge community space for yourself, and that sucks. That completely fucking sucks because I know for a fact that like at least like what's it called? One second. Words. I know for a fact if you're able to mod your game to run better on your own console, why is that looked down upon? Literally, why is that looked down upon? And even the Pokemon experience. Let's say the Pokemon experience with users being able to mod in Pokemon games, they were able to add more Pokemon, make the battles more into the battle, if that makes sense, not just completely turn-based. Or like in Zelda Breath of the Wild, the way they did it with adding new weapons, new ways for combat, new enemies, all this cool shit that could happen. Nintendo says, nope, fuck you. You know what? That's not what's gonna happen here. We do not want this to happen at all whatsoever. And like I said, that's just so fucking stupid to me. Because I would love to have like a bigger, more expansive way to play Pokemon. Because Pokemon Scarlet, the one that I bought, the last one that came out, I hate playing that game. I literally do. And I love Pokemon. I really do. But the game is so framey. It is so fucking framey. It's annoying to play it. It really just grinds my gears wanting to play it so badly. I play and it's just like really framey and this and that. And I just hate it. I really do hate it. And I like Pokemon. I like the game itself. I just hate how badly it runs. And I just wish, they would improve upon that. And I know they will in Nintendo Switch 2, but it's been a couple years now. It's been a few years since that game came out. Like, what the fuck, literally. And not even just that. I know there's multiple examples of this happening in Nintendo. And just the fact that Nintendo is so against, like, making the game better in your own way, it just sucks so fucking bad. I recommend you go and watch this person's video, Young Yeah. This video, because what's it called? He actually goes into greater detail as to what Nintendo is doing and what they have done, because he's really good at explaining it from the video that I saw right here. And honestly, his video is the main reason why I'm griping about it, because he explains it really well. He explains it really well and way better than I ever could. And the second thing that I want to gripe about is that basically, I want to say basically and essentially, because I'm not a lawyer guy, I'm not a law guy, but Nintendo basically just like, it doesn't take away your right to sue, but if you sue them, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Because essentially, the way this video, from what I've seen, big quotation marks, you literally can't really sue them in a class action lawsuit. It'll be on an individual basis, and you're not even in trial with a jury. It's literally you, the judge, and Nintendo, and their millions of dollars of fucking lawyers and everything. And whichever lawyer wants to stand beside you, which will probably be a lost case just because of how constricted you are by Nintendo's user agreements. Now, let's say you don't want to accept this. You do not want to accept all the agreements, whatever, this and that. Okay, you know what you do? You have to write a handwritten letter. Within 30 days of when you accepted it. And then you mail that overseas to the Nintendo people, and hopefully they respond within 30 days. Hopefully all this goes in track within 30 days. And then, because why they're doing this is because usually Nintendo support system, like the AI system that's already in the Nintendo website and everything, can usually be solved by that. What the fuck? Like, that's so shitty. And again, he does a way better way of explaining it, like way better job of explaining it. But it's so shitty just thinking that Nintendo just like is a matter of like, you know what? You can't sue us. You agreed to this. You know what I mean? You said yes. You can't sue us. That's not our fault. That's just you being an idiot. And I hate how Nintendo, they're doing so many bad things to gamers. And there's nothing that we're gonna do about it, because gamers are a different type of breed where, like, essentially Nintendo will do whatever the fuck they want, and we're gonna keep supporting them, aka buying their games and their consoles, because we're gamers. What are we gonna do? Not play those kinds of games or whatever? And even if we don't, let's say a majority, not majority, let's say a group of people says, you know what, we're gonna boycott and not buy Nintendo games. So? Literally fucking so? You know how big the Nintendo community is? It's fucking ginormous. And not even based on that. It's also based on the matter of the fact that Nintendo games are meant for children. As much as you hate to hear it, that's the full truth of it. So, like, even if, like, okay, we're not gonna buy Nintendo products, I mean, how many other kids don't want to play Mario? They don't want to play Pokemon. They don't want to play this or that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, they can do whatever the fuck they want, and it will all work out in their favor. It really will. And like I said, the best place to play Nintendo products is to not know anything about Nintendo, because holy shit, Nintendo really fucks you over, and they fuck you hard. They don't just like, I'm not gonna go too deep into that metaphor, but no, they fuck you hard. And I recommend watching his videos. I'm gonna link them both in my little description thing But wow, Nintendo really fucks you over, and I cannot be more annoyed by that. I really can't. But yeah, take care.